All right, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be the speaker for today, and hopefully it's going to be an amazing ride together. We are techies, right? And I believe we have non-techies among us, but trust me, there is nothing like non-techie, all right? Except somebody that is just ignorant, ignorant of the revolution, ignorant of, the change, ignorant of where the world is going to, and maybe they just feel like still remaining in the analog age. So without any waste of time, I'm going to share my screen so that, as our president say, so we can hit the ground running. Yeah, so we can hit the ground running. So I'll be starting out shortly. Sorry, my system is asking me to give permission. Okay, I think I'm good to go. Yeah. So I'll be sharing my screen now. All right. So I don't know, please, can you all see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you so much. So welcome again, everyone. It's going to be an amazing moment here by God's grace. And I'll be talking about visibility strategies for techies. Visibility strategies for techies. There are a couple of things we are going to, look into, to consider, and find a way to create a solution, or possibly create a path which some of us, at least all of us, should take in this journey. All right. So today I will just do a brief introduction about who I am, and we'll go straight to talk about the impacts, and we'll talk about the strategies, then questions and answer. Trust me, I want us to spend an amazing 30 minutes, impactful 30 minutes. Yeah, an impactful 30 minutes. So my name is Charles Ifeanyi Izuoba. I am an innovative digital marketer, website developer, and skill monetization strategist. Now, if you look down my slide, you are going to see two logos. Yeah, many of you know me as LastSkill. Many of you encountered me because of LastSkill. But before LastSkill, there is a brand called HS Tutorial. And HS Tutorial is an online platform where we provide solutions for students that are facing difficulties in calculation-based courses. Now, the reason why I'll be talking about HS Tutorial is because, like I promised you all, that I'll be sharing live case studies, right? So everything I did from scratch to grow HS Tutorial to what it become, I'll be sharing some of those ideas with you today. And trust me, LastSkill is existing today because of HS Tutorial. So HS Tutorial made me go into tech officially. I have to learn a lot of things: branding, marketing, web development, graphic design, blogging, and a whole lot, just because I want to push the brand, right? So when I started getting success, I now had to, move into another niche that has to do with digital skill acquisition, and not just educational content for students in the higher institution. So LastSkill, which you already know, it's a hub, yes, a digital training institute that focused on helping individuals to not just discover and learn skills, but to monetize their skill. That is to say, whatever skill you are interested in learning, whatever passion you have for any skill, after learning that skill, it's also paramount that you make money from it. And that is our goal at LastSkill, irrespective of the skill you've learned, be it a tech skill or just your regular vocational skill or something you're passionate about. We help you with strategies that will help you scale through. So without any waste of time, let's go on. Now, there are two categories of techies, right? Yeah, when we talk about techies, who is a techie, right? We are all techies. Everybody here is a techie, right? In fact, once you have the ability to utilize tools, right, in the tech space, right? Once you have the ability to maybe write codes, yeah, you can call yourself a techie. Once you have the ability to use tools or gadgets that have been made, written either by code or without code, they are also a tech-savvy user. All right, so this webinar is actually for tech enthusiasts. So everybody on this call today have a background in tech. Okay, I had to break it down to categorize it into two: techies and the tech-savvy users. Now, if you look closely at my screen, you will see a short definition I gave there just to help us, understand that these two people are not actually different people, but it's just like the hand and the leg being one, but doing different things, having these different roles they play. All right. So anytime we hear techies, most times some people feel left out. Some people feel like they don't even have anything to do with the whole tech thing. Okay, because they don't write code, so they are not techies. Well, the ability for you to use devices, smartphones, tablets, computers for your everyday tasks, to browse the internet, to use the apps, to send emails, already makes you self tech inclined, right? But now, what we are looking at, or what we'll be focusing on today, is how to gain the visibility, irrespective of the category you fall under, either as a techie or as a tech savvy user. When I started, I had no idea about tech. I have nothing. In fact, in my family, I was the last person that got into the whole computer thing, right? But as time progresses along the line, when I decided to switch into, the whole tech space, utilizing websites and the rest, then I began to learn, I improved myself, and everything that happened along those lines are the things I'll be sharing today. So before I move further, please, I just hope we are still on this call, and I hope I'm not alone. Since I'm sharing my screen, I can't see what's happening at the other end. So can someone just say hello or hi, just so I'm sure I am not on this call alone before I proceed? Please, let me just hear the reactions or possibly see your feedback from the screen. Okay, thank you so much. I can see that. Thank you. All right. So moving ahead, I want you to give me 15 minutes of your time, right? I want you to give me 15 minutes of your time. The first thing we are going to consider today are the impacts of not being visible on the internet, right? The impact, in fact, it's a negative impact, right? The impact of not being visible on the internet, what it can do to your brand. Then the second part of it we are going to consider are the visibility strategies for techies, focusing on two things: the how and the specific actions. That is to say, for every point I'll be giving you tonight on a strategy you can apply to be visible, I will also tell you the action points, things you should do, things you should take note of, okay? So I will advise you don't just, connect to this call, drop the phone somewhere and get distracted with something else. Just give me 15 minutes of your time, have your pen and paper handy, and take note of everything I'll be saying. You may learn from the story I will tell, you may learn from what you'll be seeing on your screen, but however it goes, my focus today is to let you know that if you are not in the digital space, you are missing out. You are missing out. Now, a brief story about HS Tutorial. HS Tutorial was a brand I started when I was in school, and I started that brand because I want to create a solution to my friends. So I started with a small audience, right? I started with a small audience. Now, I noticed in the higher institution, a lot of people are scared, or a lot of people don't like calculation-based courses: mathematics, physics, accounting, economics, a bit of chemistry, and anything that has to do with calculation, taxations, and the rest. Okay, so one day we were at in the class listening to the lecturer, and I saw a lady sitting 2 seats in front of me. Just she just eased and she nodded her head, and the next thing I heard was, so I saw this lady and I just felt bad for her. Like, I felt pity. Let me just say, I have compassion on her. And I just tapped her. I was like, how far? What is the challenge? She said, this thing this man is saying, I don't even understand anything. So I thought, okay, don't worry. After the class, you come, I will guide you. I will see you through. And she was like, okay, thank you. So after the class, she came to me and I was explaining it to her. So while I was doing that, right? While I was doing that, more students keep coming. They keep coming. Charlie, may we see now? Charlie, may we see? Stuff like that. Before you know, I had people clustered around me. Fine, we left after the lectures. The following day again, we came for lecture. She came again. I was now explaining. People start coming around. Now, while we were learning, somebody now said in pidgin, Charlie, show us for boards now so that everybody go learn. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I had to go to the board and I started teaching. Now, what happened? Everybody in my class, right? That was in our 200 level that this happened. Everybody in the class was just paying attention and listening to the way I was simplifying statistics for them. Now, the reason why I'm telling this story is because there was something I did that made HS tutorial what it is today, right? But now everybody paid attention and was listening to me. So I was happy to see that I was giving value, right? So I continued teaching. Every time we come to class, immediately after lecture, I am teaching. People are coming around, my classmates, even from other classes, they will come down to learn from me. Okay. Now, what happened? I now have a solution to their problem. But it was only those in my class, not even departments. Now, only those in my class that knows about me, right? But now I was not really focused on, meeting the whole people. I was just still working with my small niche, giving solutions to them till I decided to tell them, okay, anytime you come to class, just, try and invite your friends. Let's come together. And before you know it, something that started from 2, 3 people we started having about 15, 20, 30 people coming to learn for free. Now, two things happened. Before that thing happened, a lady came to me and said, Charlie, you are so good. We are ready to pay you. How much will you be collecting so that I'll be paying you for this tutorial? At least you can be making something from this. To cut the long story short, I started charging for my tutorials and people were rushing in to learn from me. Now, one day while I was teaching them, I asked a question. I said, if I upload these videos on YouTube, will you watch? Some said, yes, yes. Some said, no, data, stuff like that. So that was sometime in the month of May. So I now told them, okay, no problem. By next month, which is June, I'm going to create a YouTube channel and I'll start posting these things. So the idea was because June is my birth month. So I want to have a significant month when I created that, right? So when I got home, I was just on the bed and the next thing I heard was create that YouTube. So immediately I created that YouTube channel. A lot of things happened around it, but to cut the long story short, I created that channel and I started pushing my content. Now, I had in mind to serve just my classmates, but do you know what happened? My YouTube channel grew to the extent that I get calls from the America, from China, from India, from South Africa, from Malawi, from different parts of the world to learn from me. And that was when I now placed $10 to my service. For each question you ask me, you pay $10 before I answer you. Now, that was where visibility strategies came into play. And I'm going to share those things with you. All right. So the impact of not being visible on the internet will definitely have a negative impact on you. Because number one, you'll be limited to opportunities. So imagine I still focus on my classmates. I was just there in the class teaching only my classmates or only those in my school in Yaba Tech. What would have happened? I will still remain there. I may be a king in school. Everybody knows, oh, go to Charlie's tutorial, HS tutorial, go there, you will learn. Yes, that was what happened. It got to the point where a lecturer might be in the class teaching, and my if I say yes, they'll just walk out of the class. Later, they'll come to my tutorial and pay me. You get it? But now this went beyond this. And even while I was doing my ND program, I was teaching ICANN students. I was teaching DLI students in the University of Lagos, Unilag, and stuff like that. Just because I decided to create a visibility for my brand online. So that helped me not become limited to just my classmates or my school, but I went far and far above my expectations. So When you decide not to take your brand to the online space, you are limiting the opportunities that will come to you. You are limiting the opportunities that will come to you. And trust me, it will not do you any good at all. Because you just find out that at the end of the day, everything just ends where you are, ends just there in school. You will miss job offers, you will miss contracts. In fact, you will even lack an invitation for speaking engagement or for collaboration. Now, I am speaking to you here today because I met Mr. Justin somewhere. We worked together at an event. We created a relationship, and that relationship was flowing since that day until today. And by God's grace, to continue to move. That was because I served somewhere, someone noticed me and recommended me. And from there, I continue to meet people, and I've been speaking at different events. So if you don't take your brand online, or you don't talk about what you do, thinking it's pride when you begin to post what you do online, then you will limit yourself to opportunities. The second one is to reduce credibility. Now, once you don't bring out your brand and talk about what you do, you don't, show your expertise on LinkedIn or GitHub and stuff like that. Now, the trust people may have on your brand will be limited, will be reduced, will not be as much as expected, because they feel this guy or this brand is not even comfortable, is not confident to come out to the public and talk about what they do or what they know, right? So it's reduced your credibility. It even makes you easy to prove to people that you are an expert in that field. All right, it reduces your credibility and it makes people find it difficult to believe in what you do. Because I remember sometime last year, I was in a call and I was, speaking to my audience, and I asked them a question. I said, if you are very, very good at singing and you sing just in your room, you sing in your house, in fact, in your room, even your next door neighbor does not even know you sing, your church members does not know you sing, how would somebody invite you for concerts to come and sing? How would somebody want to pay you to sing at an event? Nobody will do that because they don't know you sing, right? So creating some level of authority in what you do matters a lot when you take your brand to the online space. Now, the third point is difficulty in building a network. When you don't take your brand online, you would find it difficult to network with the right set of people. Now, many of us are on this call because we belong to one community or the other, either to Eket community or Uyo WordPress community or even the Last Scale community and other communities or associations we belong to. Now, in one way or the other, those communities we belong to have a direct impact on our success. And the reason why you've not left that community is because you feel you are getting value there. Now, anywhere you are getting value from, be ready to give value as well. Be ready to give value in return so that you'll be recognized in that field and in that industry. Now, the fourth thing again is a lack of brand authority. All right, lack of brand authority. The truth is, I cannot, right? I cannot confidently come out at this stage now. I cannot confidently come out to say, I want to teach HTML or CSS, front-end web development, because that was not my foundation, right? I never had any idea on it, though I've already started some course on it. But I cannot confidently come out now and tell you, okay, here I want to teach you HTML, CSS. In fact, the moment I would say that, people will begin to look at me because they know that this young man speaking, it's a digital marketer. That is his foundation. That is his strength. That is where he has an authority. And that is what he is known for. So any other skill I acquire will just fall under digital marketing while I continue pushing myself as a digital marketer. Now, this thing matters a lot because without proving yourself as an authority in your niche, either as a UX designer or as a web developer or even as a social media manager, yes, then if you cannot show people what you can do or you don't talk about what you can do, then you can never build an authority in that niche, because from your own self not being able to come out to talk about your brand, it means you're not even confident enough about what you do. Now, the last thing I have here talking about the negative impacts is competitive disadvantage. All right. Now, basically, there are three things we'll be looking here. Now, by the time you remain in your house doing what you do, right, your competitors will be ahead of you. You won't even know what the market trends are. And lastly, your influence or the little influence you've already gotten will diminish because people would not see you as someone that has something new to offer or has a valuable content to dish out. So it basically means that if you want to succeed in the digital space, you must be ready to follow the trends as it aligns with your expertise. You must be ready to follow, the trends as it deeply aligns with your niche. It's one thing to be a developer. On this call, we have a lot of developers, right? But it's something else to narrow down and be known for your specific niche. I am a WordPress developer, right? And as a WordPress developer, I am focused more on personal branding and landing page creations for individuals. That is what I'm focused on. That is what I build. So by the time you've narrowed down your niche, it makes it easier for you to project what you do and to tell people about your brand in order for them to connect with you. So there are certain things we'll consider here if we talk about the negative impacts. Now, what are the things we need to do to gain those visibility we need in the online space? Those are the things we are going to explore now in the next, I believe, I've not taken much time, right? In the next 10 minutes. So I don't know if we are still together. I don't know if there is any question so far. I don't know, please, I would just like to know if you all are still on the call with me before I proceed. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's go to the main reason why we are here today. We want to talk about visibility strategies for techies, right? Visibility strategies for techies. And we are going to consider a lot of things. Now, like I said, for each options I'll be giving you, I will tell you what to do. Now, one thing I always tell my students or my trainees, or anytime I find myself speaking, I usually tell them that digital marketing most times sounds like a sermon, like a motivational speech, until you begin to practicalize what you've been taught. So most times when you hear digital marketers teach, especially when it's not a practical class, it's more like a pastor preaching to you, or more like somebody giving you an advice on what to do. Now, the main work in getting the results that you desire is by putting to practice whatever you've learned or what you have been told to do. And that is where a lot of us have issues, putting to practice. We get to the point where we feel, I can't do this again. It gets to the point where we feel, if I had known, I would have not have started this. But like I would always say, if you feel like quitting, you think about why you started. Now, the first thing you must do in order to take your brand to the online space is to brand yourself. You must create a strong personal brand. How do you create a strong personal brand? First, you have to define who you are. This is very, very important. You have to define who you are, right? Define who you are and ensure that whatever thing you are considering as the factors that makes up who you are aligns with your skills, it aligns with your personality, and also it aligns with the value you want to dish out. Now, going back to HS tutorial when I started. Now, HS tutorial, like I said, I never had in mind. In fact, the name at first was not even HS tutorial. The name was Helping Students Tutorial, right? Helping Students Tutorial, digital-based learning system, right? But now what happens? Along the line, when I began to get those feedbacks from my audience, when I began to get calls, when I began to get bookings and recommendations, reviews, questions, and all those things, I had to, go to the back end of my website then, that was helpingstudents.com.ng. And I was just looking at the analytics, looking at the the country, or the country my audience were coming from. And I noticed that students in Nigeria only visit the website when when they're about to write exams or tests, right? Now, every schools or every institution around the world have their own time for exams. So it now made me realize that maybe in the month of June, I'll have a lot of traffic on the website, visitors coming to learn from a particular location. Maybe in the month of July, from another location, the month of August, from different location. That is where I have the highest traffic. Now, when I began to get those feedback, I now thought it wise to, one, make the name easy to remember. Because then, while students were calling me to learn from me, some were calling me to ask for loan. Some were calling me to pay their school fees. Why? Because the name of my brand partially contradicts what I did, or the service I was offering. Then it was helping students. So every student that come, while some are coming to ask questions and the rest, some are coming to ask for money. So I now had to sit down and look carefully into the brand. Then I came up with HS, which means the helping students, then tutorial. Then I rebranded from digital-based learning system to online tutorial for students. Now I had to keep it short and simple, focusing purely on calculation-based courses. Now, the moment I did this, it was easier for students to know what I offer and ask for my services. So if you want to succeed in the online space, before you start creating your Facebook account, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your GitHub, and the rest, first of all, sit down and ask yourself the service you want to render, what you want to be known as, how you want people to identify you, what you want Google to show to people when they search for your name in the online space. Once you define these things and it aligns with what you want, bearing in mind that there are rooms for iterations, then you take the action steps. Now you have defined your niche. You have defined your personal mission, right? Another mistake I see most people do is in their profile. On Facebook, they are bearing a different name totally from what they bear on Instagram, from what they even use on WhatsApp, from what they use on Twitter or LinkedIn and the rest. One of the things you will do to help your brand is to have a consistent profile across all platforms, so that when somebody is there and they search online for you, they can see your profile and easily identify you are the one, and they can do business with you, connect with you, or even get to learn from you and learn from your platform. All right. So it is very, very important that you build a strong personal brand. It is about you for now, right? For now, at this stage, it is about you. Okay. The first stage in taking your business to the online stage is about you, because it is who you want people to see you as, what you want to be identified as, that you are about to put into the market. So define that first. Once you define that, then you can now talk about, okay, how do I want to be identified? Okay, let me look into my logo. Let me look into maybe my website if I can afford that. Let me look at my social media presence. But before then, you must have decided what you want to do and the service you want to offer, because truly that is branding. Branding is not your logo or your color. Branding is the promise you make to your audience, the value you want them to derive when they contact or connect with you. After that, then you now talk about your brand identity, what you want to be identified with, and stuff like that. Okay. So in identifying your niche, you have to reflect on your interests and skills. You have to reflect on what areas of tech excites you and what problem you enjoy to solve. Okay, identify the problem you enjoy to solve, so that you are doing this thing passionately, you are doing this thing happily, knowing fully well that this is what you have signed up for, And no matter what, you'll always give it your all. Now, you have to pick a focus area. It is very, very important. Don't do everything. At first, starting out most times, you may do a whole lot of things, then you discover what works fine for you and you stick with that. But it is also nice that from the onset, you define exactly what you want to do and you get that done. All right. Now, and a typical example of what your personal mission statement would be. Basically, you can just write a one-sentence mission statement that highlights your strengths and your goal. All right. So let me give you an example. For instance, you can say, I help startups optimize their cloud infrastructure for faster scalability. I help personal brands to market and make profits from their skills, right? I provide solutions, right, for private sectors or private owned companies. Okay, then you define exactly what it is you do. You make your profile consistent, like I've said, and the last thing is to document your journey. That is one thing I always tell our students at Last Skill. The moment you start learning, the moment you are enrolled and you start learning a skill, start documenting your journey. If possible, on the first day of the training, you go to your LinkedIn and you post, oh, I started my journey as a web developer and I had my first class today. We had an introductory section on HTML. It means hypertext markup language, blah, blah, blah. I was able to do this. I hope to have an exacting ride along the line, right? On the second day of the training, you come back and you say what you do. Now, you are not just trying to, show off in the digital space, but you are documenting your journey. I know one of our students that always go online to post what he does. I was surprised the day he called me one day to even refer jobs to me, because already people see what he posts. Companies reached out to him even from the America, from the US, and they linked him up with jobs. It got to the one he couldn't do. He had to call me to come in. And I never knew the guy has already been making money and his dollars online. But that was as a result of documenting his journey. Don't be lazy to document the journey. Don't procrastinate to document your journey. Don't procrastinate to talk about what you do. Go online there and put it out there. And another thing, while documenting your journey and you decide to use the online platform, please don't focus on the reactions, on the likes. Yes, you can listen to the comments, see what you can work on, see what you can adjust. But if you post and you have one like, two like, that should not make you feel depressed or weigh you down. When you post and you are the one liking it, you are the one even sharing and doing other things, that should not kill that spirit. Continue doing what you are doing, because trust me, someone somewhere is observing and watching you. The second thing is to utilize platforms like GitHub and LinkedIn. Now, these platforms allows you to demonstrate your skills, and it helps you to connect with professionals. Above all, it's helping you establish yourself as a thought leader, right? Helping you establish yourself as a thought leader. I've never advertised myself as a, because I can't learn back end, but because I have decided on my niche and I've narrowed down my niche. I would not advertise myself as a back-end developer, but I can get gigs as a back-end developer and take it to the guys that are back-end developers to get it done. I can serve as a middleman or as an affiliate to that, but I will never present myself as what? A back-end developer. I don't know if we're getting the difference here. So now, when you use platforms like GitHub, right, you use these things to upload your personal projects. You also go there and you contribute to open source projects, right? You also go there and you make each of your repository organized and easy for someone to even understand and engage with it. You go there to review other people's code, contribute to existing projects. What you are doing silently is creating a name for yourself, creating visibility for your brand. Okay, now, it's just like someone building a website, Like one of the encounter I had with one of my clients after developing the website, she had to reach out to me. Ever since I built that website, nobody has even bought anything from me. Nobody has blah, 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 blah. I told her it is one thing to develop a website and another to market your website. So it is one thing for you to learn a skill, and it is another for you to market your skills. And that is where most techies make mistakes. Sometimes most of our tech brothers just focus more on their coding and the whole things they do, forgetting that it is important to make noise about your brand. Talk about it, let people know you do it. And that is how they can engage with you. Now, Facebook is nice, Instagram is nice, the Twitter is okay, but I hope you know LinkedIn is one place where professionals meet. LinkedIn is one place where professionals meet. So when you are going up there or you are going out there on LinkedIn, put yourself together. Take these steps before you go there. But bear in mind that you cannot get it all figured out, especially when you are just starting out. Like Mark will say, ideas don't come out fully formed. It only gets clearer as you work on them. All you have to do is to start. But when you are starting, start well. All right? When you are starting, start well. Because sometimes the way you start matters. The way you start matters. Don't start ignorantly. Start with by planning yourself and knowing fully well what you want to do. All right. So a couple of things we'll consider under the use of GitHub and the rest. Like I've said, ensure you go there and you communicate with other people's projects, you contribute to their projects. But most importantly, what I'm more particular about is how you utilize your social media. Now, another social media I will recommend for everybody on this call today is YouTube. Whether you like it or not, go YouTube. If you cannot show your face in making your videos, then make faceless videos, but go on that platform. Now, the number one search engine we all know today is what? Google, right? Especially from this part of the world where we are at. And Google owns YouTube, and Google also favors her users. So when you're on YouTube, there are possibilities for you to also, rank on Google search engine results page when somebody search for something similar to what you've talked about or what you've written about. Now, when you are documenting your journey and you prefer to make videos about it with the right keywords, searchable keywords, there's every possibility that someone can discover your videos and want to connect with you and, so on. So while creating and building your social media presence on LinkedIn, also consider YouTube. YouTube is also one platform I'll encourage every techie to go to. Even if you go there and you do a 1 minute shorts or reels, yes, go there and do it, but let it be something valuable. On the long run, it's going to help you on the search engine results page. Now, the third one is engaging with tech communities. Don't be one of those people that will join a group and just be dormant. Don't be one of those people that will join a group motivated, but you go to that group and you wait. So and just okay, no, we are the OES members. You are the one reading comments. Or you join a group because of an event. Then on the day of the event, you don't attend the event. You don't even follow up. You don't read up. No. Don't be one of those people that will join a group and they want to, spam the group with messages and the whole stuff. When you join a group, find a way to connect with the admins. Find a way to communicate with them. Find a way to share your expertise. For every person or every brand that creates a group, be it a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group, he or she has value to give. Discover how you can make or how you can also promote value to that person's brand. And in return, you will get exactly what you want. Now, when you engage in communities, make comments that matters. Share your knowledge by speaking. Share your knowledge by contributing to projects. Show your credibility in the things you know and the things you are good at. Just like my good friend, Mr. Jackson, I always want to visit his site to go and read up his articles. because I get value from his articles. So his blogging is one of the ways to share your expertise. You write about your experience, write about what you're good at, talk about some challenges, right? You can use platforms like Medium for free. You can start your own blog if you have the money. But in everything, join communities and give value. Let me tell you something. I joined a masterclass 2 days ago. I was in a masterclass 2 days ago, 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And okay, it's actually a free webinar. Yeah, then they have the masterclass. So at that webinar, the young man, Mr. Aina, yes, he was teaching about YouTube marketing, right? And I was just looking at the comment section. I see questions like, sir, how do I create a YouTube channel? Sir, what is a thumbnail? So how can I get more subscribers? That one is actually what everybody faces on that platform. But a question down to, sir, how do I create a YouTube channel? I was like, wow. But you know the truth, those things that are easy for you to do are sometimes difficult for someone else to do. So go out there and talk about what you are good at. Don't try to be someone else. Talk about your own strengths. That is the reason why we say in choosing your niche, choose something you love doing. Choose something that you can do willingly without anybody pushing you to it. When I started my online journey, I started blogging. In fact, I started with information marketing, right? And I wrote a book on pimples, on acne. Those are what I was selling then. But I was struggling to make videos because it was not my background. I didn't have any background in medicine. I didn't have any background in what is it called, cosmetology. So I couldn't go online, I couldn't go live, I couldn't talk, but I could write blog articles. But I was not satisfied with that because I want to go online and say something so that people also hear my voice and are convinced and buy my stuff. So while I was doing all this and I was struggling, I decided to change my niche to something I know I can confidently do. And even when I wake up at night, I do that well. So that thing that thing you are good at, even if it is just HTML that you are good at, people like me that does not know HTML, if I find your channel and I like the way you teach, I will subscribe to your channel and I want to learn from you. And there are people like that. Okay. Now, another thing you also do in tech communities is to apply for speaking opportunities. And while applying for speaking opportunities, don't get disappointed when they turn you down. But when they connect with you or when they accept your speaking engagement, maximize it very well, not to promote yourself, but to dish out value. Once you give out value at an event, the aftermath of that event is going to be mind-blowing because people will want to connect with you. So you can begin by speaking at local meetups like what we are doing now. You can begin by speaking at tech webinars. You can begin by speaking in your church. You can begin by even teaching in your estates. You can begin by starting a podcast. You can begin by using voice record in your WhatsApp status. These are great ways to share your insights with a wider audience. And for our coders, contribute to open source. It matters a lot. It will help you meet more people in the industry. Now, the second to the last point I have here is a networking strategies. All right, networking strategies. Now, if you look at the action steps I have here, I only gave some insight about follow-ups. It's one thing to network with people, with industry experts at events, to join communities and the rest, but it is another to follow up. All right. Now, when you attend events or you are able to connect with some speakers or some industry experts, right? When you build relationships with them, at least at that event or for the first time you meet them, it is one thing to find a way to follow up professionally with those people. It is something else, like it is very, very important you connect with them beyond just that physical event. When they have, if they have their online space and you notice they share content there, go there and drop your comments. Go there, like their comments, like their posts. Go there, add your own value or add your own contribution to whatever post they've given. Now, what you do subconsciously is that you are registering your name or your brand in their head. All right. You may not call them as often as possible, but you connect with them occasionally on the online space. You are making some relevant connections that keeps them remembering you, and which in turn may favor you in the long run. Now, another thing I would advise you to do in everything you do, please, one, focus on giving value. Two, ensure you make yourself approachable. Focus on giving value. Ensure you make yourself approachable. When I started my brand in school, in fact, it was the students that were telling me to ask for money that they will pay me. I started collecting 100 naira per student. From 100 naira, I started collecting to 200. Then I will now do group of 5, 3,000. I'll do group of 10, 7,000. So every weekend I'm going to school, I'm coming back with like 10,000, 15,000 from my fellow students. When it is exam period, I make a lot of money. I sleep in school the whole weekend because others are coming to school to learn. I'm coming to school to make money because already before the semester begins, I've read and cover up everything for the semester. So focus on giving value and make yourself approachable. The rest is just you applying marketing and the right strategies to get people to connect with you. And another challenge I noticed with marketers, with techies, is the ability to market their brand. Not just marketing their brand, but the ability to charge their true worth for their services. Most techies are scared of calling prices. Most techies are scared of giving bills for their charge. Most techies find it difficult to negotiate. Most techies find it difficult to close sales. That is why you see some of them, not everyone, that is why you see some of them will just want to go and work in a company where they will pay them a particular amount of money for the month. Working with a company is not a bad idea, but also building your personal brand matters. All right, building your personal brand matters because as young guys that we are, sure, we want to retire someday and have a life of our own. What will you hold back when you are retired from work? What else are you known for when you are retired with that company you are working for? So it's also good that alongside your skill, learn how to close sales. Learn how to market your brand. Learn how to charge for your services. Where someone goes to the work in the morning, opens up the office, and they sell mineral, they sell bread, they sell pure water. Everybody knows the price of that thing. Now, when you're offering services like what we do as techies, it is up to you to decide what you charge for your service. A friend might get to you and you charge 300,000 for your website. Somebody else may come to you and you tell the person, just buy your domain and hosting, I will do it for you. Another person will come, you may charge 1 million naira for sites that you can do with just barely 200,000 or 100,000. But that is one beautiful thing about service. But when you know your worth and attach it to it, you know when to give out something for free, you know when to volunteer, and you know when to go strictly business. Then it's going to help you in this journey. 2 days ago, someone reached out to me that he wants to learn digital marketing. And based on just a personalized class, there are a couple of things we just selected to teach him. And I told him, okay, just give me, because we have spoken before, we already had a discussion a long time ago, but just give me 170 so that I just teach you those 2 topics you want to learn. And it was like, no, now, but the other time you even listed plenty topics, you are even telling me to pay you 100,000. I told him, sir, since that time till now, I have attended series of courses. I have upgraded myself. I've attended seminars and webinars, right? So now I have upgraded myself more than the last time you met me. So my charges are not the same, irrespective of how many topics I'll be teaching you. That is me upgrading myself, me knowing exactly what I have, how to dish out, when to give discounts, when to skyrocket my price, and also understanding the trends and the flow to set pricing to your brand. But you know one thing, you will not succeed in all these things if you don't have a strategy you work with in publicizing your business or your brand in the online space. That leads me to the last point, or my last point here. Now, we are in a world driven by technology, right? And those who are seen are the ones who are remembered. And those who are remembered are the ones who make an impact. How will you be seen if you keep hiding your brand just to your church members or just to your family members? How will you be discovered when you don't go for events? How will you be discovered when you are in a community and you don't contribute? How will you be discovered when you are shy of speaking in public about what you do? But when you go out there and strategically advertise yourself, market yourself because you understand branding, then people will remember you for the services you offer. People will remember you for your expertise. And then people will call on you to guide their students, to guide their organizations, to render services to them. And of course, you make money from it. So, my dear friends, in a nutshell, to summarize everything we've said today, it is extremely important that you, first of all, decide the value you want to give out, decide who you are, decide what you are building for yourself. Once you do that, take your brand to the online space and be open for iterations, be open for adjustments, be teachable, learn from others, and apply whatever you've learned to get the better results. So, my friends, with these few points of mine, I thank you all for listening, and I believe I've been able to impact one or two persons with something vital in today's lesson. Visibility is key for everything you do. Go out there and make noise about your brand. Like my good friend Emeka Nobis will say, shameless marketing. Never, ever, ever be shy of talking about what you do. Thank you so much, friends.
All right, guys.
So that is all
That
from my
was
end.
a very insightful session. All right, please, in case anyone have any question, please feel free to raise your hand so that Mr. Charles can attend to you, please. Anyone has any question? All right, Mr. Kingsley, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Kingsley, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening, all, and good evening, Mr. Charles. Uh, I, I didn't come in time, but with the few points that you have made from the time I came in to now, I think is in fact is enough for me to learn something out of it. But outside that, I still want to ask this very simple question. It's one of the questions I love asking very well, because you also mentioned it's talking about working in a community, being a kind of someone that active in a community. My question is, while being in a community, it's not all about maybe someone have a problem, post it in a community, and you help. My own question or my own idea and suggestion is it not possible a community have a project? Let's say a community have a project that it's it's people are working. Maybe let's say whoever is leading the community has a project that, okay, this is a project that this community is working on, so that whoever comes in knows that this community has something they are working on. For now, we have a lot of JavaScript uh, libraries, and we have a lot of like libraries out there that you can make use of. So if you go deep into it, you notice that some of them are out of community. Yes, I know someone started the project and built a community, and people come in, contribute into it, do this. Yeah, so talking about open source as well. Yeah, open source is another good idea for any techies to go in, contribute. But there are some projects in the open source that somehow, somewhere, sometimes are somehow irrelevant for you to contribute to. To me, that's like how I understand, because I've worked in some open project like that, some of them are just irrelevant. Working on them are like, you are not doing anything. Because why am I saying that? In essence, that there's some open project that you work with, like you do a code for them, you push it to them, and sometimes they overlook your project. They overlook your own code, your own suggestions. Like, yeah, I know some of them do accept, but some do feel your suggestions are not okay for them. So I don't know. My major concern is talking about like a community, like a Nigerian community. Let's not go outside first. Let's say a Nigerian community, like they have a certain project they are working on. Like if you are coming into that community, you know this community has a project. They introduce you to that project in case you have any contribution to contribute to that project. So how do we go about that? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Jackson, your hands were up. I don't know if you wanted to say something about his question.
Don't worry. Answer him first. I will add my own later.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So the few points I would actually, or what I would actually suggest here is, I believe most communities are created out from maybe a company or some group of friends, right, that already know themselves. That's me being sincere here, at least to the level I think or I know. So they already know themselves, right? And they know how they work, they know how they operate. Possibly some people create communities just as a way of maybe broadcasting what they do or sharing some insights for startups or sharing some insights that can just help people maybe scale through maybe their own personal project or just to guide them through their own tech journey, right? So when it comes to a community that has projects to work, to me, I feel they may have that arm of that company or that organization that actually works on projects, right? So now they would want most of their projects to be a company-based kind of projects, except when they are calling on a community for volunteers to carry out a certain task or certain work to be done, then it can be something that is open, that anybody that comes in can also bring in their own suggestions and contributions towards it, and they perform a particular task or the work on a particular project. Yeah. So that is from my own ideology, from my own thinking, and a little bit of experience I've had working with some communities. Yeah. Now talking about open, okay. Talking about open source, personally, I've not really contributed to open source projects that much because most of digital marketers don't really do the whole open source thing. Yeah, so, but I have a couple of ideas how it works, sorting out your own codes, giving your own contributions, submitting, and when it is approved. Yeah, I know that joy we feel when your contribution is being approved and the rest. But still on that, I still believe it doesn't still stop us or stop you or anyone from still contributing, because definitely one day at the right time, you may still be able to get some connection that matters through a contribution you may have made months or years back that you think are not relevant. Okay, Mr. Jackson.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to point out, like, make a point. A community is not about the person that starts the community or something. A community is open to anyone, just like our own now. Okay. Anyone is free to start up a project. It is not that okay. It must be the lead or some like the core team that must come out with the idea or start the thing. The thing is that it is for everyone. Whichever idea you have or whichever like a project that you have, start it. Others will join you. It is not a one man stuff. For example, now we are planning an event. Now, okay, I have been posting on the group. Okay, we need a volunteer, but no one actually keen to whatever we are doing. And also, I have to witness in GDG Eket, we actually embark on a project, but where is the project now? nowhere. Because why? The community members, as in, they don't, like, there is no one that wants to contribute for the project. Why? Because they feel that, okay, I am not being paid on it and all that. So at times, you don't really need to wait for us, like the core team or the leads or something, to start up a project. You can start up with something. All of us are going to join you on the thing. All right.
Okay.
Mr. King, I hope you get the point.
Yeah, very well. Very well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I understand what you're saying.
So I'll be expecting a project from you, right? Right?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of projects. Don't worry, I'm coming with my project.
All right. Next in line, Faith Ekong, please go on. Faith Ekong, do you have a question?
Hello, good evening. Oh,
Good evening.
okay, good evening, Mr. Charles. You have said well. I've really benefited from your brains today, most especially how you've told us how we could use LinkedIn to show our professionalisms, and using blogging sites to tell what we do, could be achievements, could be your thoughts, so that people could kind of see what you do. So I just want to ask this question here. How could you build your brand through
I'm not
three
hearing you
things?
clear.
How
I'm not
could
hearing.
one build his brand through three things?
True.
Three things. That's Twitter X.
Okay. Twitter. True X.
Yeah. So you kind of know that Twitter is not like Facebook, which is just frenzy, or LinkedIn like professionals. It's Twitter just has a kind of different interface. So as a brand strategist, how would you build a brand of an individual or an organization using Twitter?
Okay. So to the
You
best
get me,
of my
sir?
knowledge, yes, I do. Yeah. How you can build your brand through
Okay.
X. Now, one thing I know for sure is
Yeah.
these social media platforms, actually have, should I say, the kind of algorithm they work with and what works fine. For instance, someone that goes on LinkedIn and dance day in, day out, I don't think he may actually get the kind of engagement he's looking at or he's looking for. But when you go on, what is it called, the TikTok, and you do your dance stuffs and the rest, you attract the kind of audience you're looking for. Okay. There are most platforms that works more for B2B, B2C, and stuff like that. And there are platforms that are basically for professionals, right? So depending on your niche or the kind of brand you are growing or you want to grow, Twitter may work well for you. I know some brands that do well on Twitter, but zero on Facebook or Instagram. Some have a lot of audience and engagement on Instagram, and on Twitter and LinkedIn is not just there, but they are still there, posting occasionally. So one thing I know that can be done on Twitter, which is one, first of all, depending on your goal, is to follow key influencers. Now you are following influencers that um, that that are already doing what you want to do or what you are doing. You are following influencers that are successful in what they do that you are also doing or you are looking at starting out. Now, when you follow them and you observe them and you see what works fine for them, because you need to take some time to also study them, maybe 4, 5, 6 of them, see what they have in common, what they do uniquely or what they do differently, and you come up with your own strategies and something similar to what they do so that it fits in well, then you'll be successful in that space. Now, following them, it's one thing. Then engaging in their conversation about trending topics is also another, because it's just like contributing to open source content, right? Or open source. Now, when your contribution is valuable, definitely they will work with it. Now, when an influencer or someone notices that you are consistent in posting or engaging with their content and your posts are meaningful, they would want to engage with you, they want to connect with you, they want to check you out. And in checking you out, and maybe they discover they like what you do and the nature of your content, it brings those kind of collaborations or networking with you and them. Because, of course, especially if the person is the one managing the social handle, they see all those things and they can be able to relate to the fact that, oh, this person always engages with our content. Let us check him out to see what he does. Now, when they check you out and what you do still aligns with even their company value or the kind of people they are looking for, they may likely connect with you. But now, when you are engaging with them, dropping relevant comments and the rest, then they visit your own page to even check you out, and they are not seeing anything valuable that you also give out in return, then it may not even make any sense for them to network with you. So it's a two-way thing. While you are giving out value on that platform based on your niche, you are also making valuable insights or comments or feedbacks from other people's content, so that when they click on your comments in their post to connect with you, they get value. So everything boils down to value. And for you to give value, you must first of all define your niche, define what you want to do on that space. That makes it easier for you to get the value that you desire. So the last thing I also know about Twitter again is consistency, right? Consistency. If you watch all those people that will tell you that Twitter they hot, Twitter they ball, Twitter is the new kind of, all those kind of things, they follow some set of group or people or page or influencers that gives them the vibe they want. All right. So that is why on their own end they enjoy Twitter. So on your own end now, when you connect to the kind of people you want to see, then you also enjoy that platform and build a reasonable network too that will work in your own favor. That is from my own end. I hope that answers you.
It's okay. Thank you very much, sir. However, let me also ask, could
Okay.
Meetup be used for low tech skills? And also, could you recommend influencer for low tech skills like digital marketing, email marketing, like people like that you could recommend on Twitter?
Okay, when it comes to GitHub, I will allow Mr. Jackson to talk about GitHub. Now, when it comes
All
to,
right, no problem.
let's say, influencers or some channels you can follow on email marketing and the rest, I know HubSpot, for instance, HubSpot Academy, they give a lot of valuable insights in marketing. When I started out, I was a big fan of Neil Patel. Neil Patel, digital marketing, very, very cool. Then Brian, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Brian Dean, the one with the green skyscraper, SEO skyscraper, what is it called again? Formula, yes. I also follow him. Now, these guys are the ones I learned most of my early stage digital marketing strategies from. Yeah, before I decided to go for seminars, webinars, buy courses, take even on Coursera and the rest. Right, these guys, they come out with proven digital marketing strategies that you can even use, not just for your own brand, but that you can use to start up as an agency to even render your services to other people. So Neil Patel, check Neil Patel out. He's spelled Neil, then Patel, Patar. Check Neil Patel, check HubSpot. HubSpot gives out a lot of content. If you are looking at email marketing, you can even follow most of those email marketing platforms, right? Like MailChimp and stuff like that. They also dish out those things. So it boils down to exactly what you want to learn. Then you can search for the page, or possibly these are just a few ones I know, because one thing I make sure I did during my early stage of learning is not to listen to so many people, right? When I was learning copywriting and how to close sales, right, I was just focused on what is this man's name? I can't recall his name at the moment. Yeah, I was just focused on. I wish I can remember his name. Dan Locke. Yes, yes. That was a point. I was a period in my growth stage that was focused on Dan Locke. Right. I watched Dan Locke back to back, back to back. Even down here in Uyo, right. There was a period I was just focused on this good friend of ours that we lost in 2020, Ubon King. There was a period I was focused on Ubon King. Now, I don't, if I'm learning something at that particular period, Max, I just learned from two persons. Max, I learned from two persons. If you are learning digital marketing here, you're learning here, you're learning here, at some point, it just clouds you. Sometimes I learn from Simple Learn again. I just go there and get insight. If I want to download a course or a crash course on digital marketing or stuff like that, I go to Simple Learn and I learn from there too. All right. So it boils down to the exact niche or the exact thing you want to learn, but don't learn from so many people. Don't learn the same thing from so many people, from different people. Minimum or maximum two persons that you feel are industry experts in that field. Then you get those insights from them.
It's okay, no
So,
problem.
Mr.
Thank you very much, sir.
GitHub. Okay, yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, please. Because of time, I think we'll just go straight to the next person. Mr. Charles and I will drop the link. Sorry, the list later on the group. So
Okay.
let's go on to the next person. Imo or Ben, please. The floor is yours.
Okay, good evening, all.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Mr. Charles, the CEO of Last Year. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. And ever since the first time I met Mr. Charles, he has been an amazing person.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much for uh, lecture. Let me say so. Yes, enlightening so many things in the tech ecosystem. I have a few questions to ask. You said something while you were teaching. You said there are some people who ask how to open a YouTube channel? Such a simple question. So similar thing might goes to me this evening. When we are talking, you explaining about projects. There's sometimes I do ask if I belong to a community, and what is the what's the project you're really talking about? Which area is it? I got a job and there's a project I'm working on, maybe for a company or for industry. I take it to my group for assistance, for a community to a community for assistance, or I am building a project of myself, maybe to launch or for something that has to do with personal self growth, maybe a brand name or working on something personally. Is that the group? Is that the project I'm referring to, or a community project that has to do within the community? They are working on it to establish within themselves. Then me that maybe I am opportune to be among them. Is that the project they are referring to? That's number one. Then secondly, if we were to in the tech ecosystem now, we're talking about the value you have for others, and then we are acquiring those values. Oh, I come to understand that there are others who have the zeal in the tech industry, who wants to learn tech skills, and sometimes finance becomes a challenge to them. And the opportunity to meet people like I met with Mr. Charles. I know I met him about 3 years ago, and I'm in Ikoregbene presently. So communicating with me is the same via online. How do you people work to carry those kind of people along, whereby the facilities they have to follow you up is limited? So what are the things in place you have to carry them along? Then lastly, uh, is myself. I'm into system repairs and maintenance. So sometimes I feel inferior in the tech system that my service might not be need online. what exactly would they need me for, and how can I expand my cost on tech when it comes to repair and maintenance, installations, and data protection. How can I do that? Sometimes it makes me feel inferior, though I'm still encouraging myself to go on it. You know me deviate to web development, HTML. So I have to start from scratch. Sometimes I go to uh WordPress, and I found it difficult because I have no those kind of people. I don't have them around me that I can kick up with. But what I know to do is system repair and maintenance, installations of softwares. So I thought, how can this be needed online, and am I needed? So those of you who have been on the system, please, I would like you people to enlighten me and throw more light. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Imoben. Yeah, Sylvester, right? Yeah, Mr. Sylvester. Okay. All right, thank you so much. So I don't know, before I will say what I have in mind, I don't know if anybody has anything to say based on his questions. Yeah, so let's still look at it together. I think I would even like to hear from one of my senior colleagues too, Mr. David, please. Yes, Mr. David, I think I would like you to say something about his question. Please, sorry for calling you out here. Mr. David, please. So I don't know if you have yeah, just a little contribution or your own insight as to the question he asks. So that's
Okay. I mean, I was just doing looking in this place, so she's, you know.
this is well, sir.
Okay. Thanks a million, Mr. Charles. Awesome session. Actually took down a couple of notes.
Thank you, sir.
For my friend in Eket. So what did you say you do again? I don't think I heard that like clearly. What did you say you do again? I know you were saying talking about not finding a place.
Okay, so I am talking about system repair and maintenance, software
Okay, system
installation.
repair. Oh, okay. Super cool. So I don't know why you say can't find a place. Like there are people so we have software and hardware, right? So I
Yeah,
think what you actually want to think about is to ask yourself, how do I take the skills I have now and advance them in today's space and in today's world? So let me give you an example. So back in the day, system repairs was like a big thing. It still is, funny enough, actually. You know, so it was like a big thing. Like if you could fix a computer, man, you are like the king of the town, right? And stuff like that. Not today where everybody at Plaza is fixing computers and laptops, you know, and the competition is still. But guess what? That's just like the basic part of it, right? But it transitions into other things. How about building systems? So there are guys that do crazy amounts of money building systems for people. And I know a guy in Lagos who commands like millions every year building systems for people. So he builds out systems for people, gamers, people who are requiring huge system architecture and stuff. You already have the skills. You just need to translate those skills into, should I say, make your skill a high-paying skill. So because the skill has become commoditized in quotes, in that every Tom, Dick, and Harry now says they can fix a computer system. What you want to do is say, how do I differentiate myself by ensuring that I command higher value for what I do, which means you will have to advance in the level at which you are using your repair skills, right? Or software installation skills. Your repair skills, basically. So think about building systems, think about robotics, think about cheap technology, right? Cheap design. Like these are things that are within that space that you are. So I'm speaking of hardware now. There is a guy in Uyo who builds hardware for companies outside of Nigeria. That's what he does. That's the only thing he does. He builds hardware. He builds prototypes. That's what he does. The only thing he does. Commands thousands and thousands of dollars doing it. He's in Uyo, right? But you think that there's anybody like that doing that kind of stuff. But the guy is there, right? And he's super obsessed about it, right? So that's what you want to think about. And you want to start doing the research for it. So go find out, like this guy I just talked about. You want to find out. I'll get his name. Maybe if you are you in the group, if you're in the WhatsApp group, I'll drop his name in the WhatsApp group for you to check him out. The guy lives a very quiet, secluded life, him and his machines. Anyway, but you want to connect with those kinds of people. If hardware is what you want to do, then you want to connect with those kinds of people who are like the guy in Lagos I talked about, who is building systems for people. You want to connect with that kind of person. That one is online. You can find it online. You want to connect with that kind of person. In your space, who are the people who are doing things at the level that you would like to do them? Because there are people out there. So you might say, oh, I'm doing hardware. How do I bring that online? Yes, you find the people who require your services online. They are online. So how about you, Mr. Charles talked about telling stories, right? How about you tell your story? The story of this guy, and guess what? The fact that you're in Eket even makes it more interesting. You can weave, this is where marketing, branding comes in. You can weave an entire story of this guy who is out in the Raffia city building hardware for the world. Like, it's insane. People like to connect with those kinds of stories. Like, oh wow, you know, this guy is out there doing this stuff. How can I work? And then you start seeing collaboration opportunities coming up. You start seeing people who are doing stuff in that space saying, hey, how far? I'm working on this project. Can you come? Let's work on this project together. Can we do a collab? You know, those kind of things. So what I would say is that you should do the research, right? Don't just say, oh, there's no space for me. Do the research. I feel like you've not done the research. Do the research. Find out. Go online. Go on LinkedIn. Look for guys who are doing stuff in hardware, robotics. Look for guys who are doing stuff in those spaces. You might need to upskill in that. Hardware today is not just hardware. You also need to understand architecture, right, on which hardware is being built. So you might need to pick up a few skills along the way, but you won't know all these things if you don't do the research. So I'll just say, do the research, connect with the people who are in your space. There are people in your space who are doing what you want to do. Find them. It is when you find them that you'll be able to see the roadmap. I even know, oh, this is the trajectory, this is the path, this is where I want to be. How did this person go there or get there? And then you see their stories, you hear their stories, and then you can even figure out the path. Where you are, not many people are there. That presents in itself a unique opportunity. Differentiate. Don't do what everybody is doing. Everybody is repairing system and fixing RAMs. Like, don't do what everybody is doing. The moment you do that, you commoditize. That's what it means. So you want to say, how do I stand out? Even if you want to even stay within your space of repairs, you can still differentiate. I think I talked about that in the last meetup where I'm saying, what kind of hardware engineer are you? You want to define it. Mr. Charles mentioned it again today. You want to be able to differentiate, always differentiate. But first off, do the research, right? If you need my input on that, you can always drop me a DM on WhatsApp to talk about it and then see how. I'm fascinated by it. Talking about it now with you just triggers plenty things in my head. So we can have that conversation in the DMs and then we'll see where it goes. I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
The link to the WhatsApp is on the chat. Please, you can check the chat for the link to our WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. David. So, Mr. Sylvester, you've heard it now. So you can link up with Mr. David. You can join the WhatsApp group. Then look at the profile. I know you will see the same profile. Yeah, just connect with him and he will guide you, right? He will guide you properly. So I also dropped a message in the comment section with regards to the other question you asked about working on a project. right? I just try to simplify it, just to use simple words. Working on a project in a community means teaming up with others who share similar interests to work on a common goal, usually in a public or a shared space. It all boils down to the project they are working on. And possibly some of these projects are free. Some of these projects are maybe a paid project. Some of these projects are even just to serve as volunteers. But anyhow it goes, there are some level of we get, even networking and stuff like that. Just working with the Acquirement Tech Week team last year opened a lot of opportunities to me and connections that matters, that are relevant to me today. Okay, so it's cool, and I'm glad Mr. David is even interested in what you do, and I believe, by God's grace, because I don't even know why I called him, so I believe he should be able to also guide and help out here. So I think that is all. I don't know, Mr. Jackson. I'm good. Over to you, sir.
Okay, let me just add a few. In terms of a community project, I believe you can see my slide per sec. This was our first, our kickoff meetup. So as a community, we can also come up with a project, just as what Mr. Kingsley earlier said. It is also an avenue for everyone, like, to contribute to that particular thing. You just contribute your own input to it. So that is another way of like kind of a project in which you can like to contribute. All right. Is there any other person that wants to ask a question? There is no female that have asked the question. I think I'm going to mention name because they need to talk. And today is the girl's child's day, I think. So who is going to represent the ladies in this call? Praise, can you say something? Just say something.
Something.
Hello, Praise. All right. It seems there is no more questions. So, Mr. Charles, thank you very much. This was really, really a wonderful session. Okay, just a few announcements before we close.